I remember the exact moment I stopped smiling. The message flashed on my phone. Your presence is no longer required at the wedding. Please understand. My fingers trembled, not with rage, but with the cold, measured clarity of someone who had been dismissed like a disposable shadow. My own sister and her in-laws had decided I was a mistake, an embarrassment, a wallet they could exploit, but a person they could erase. I sank into the couch, letting the fury settle into something sharper: focus. Betrayal has a way of stripping you bare, but it also sharpens the mind. I thought about every dinner I had paid for, every dress I had insisted she wear, every vendor I had booked with my own credit card. Every penny had built the stage for this humiliation. And now the show would go on, but on my terms. I remember when we were kids, my sister and I were inseparable. I taught her how to ride a bike, she taught me how to be human in a house that sometimes forgot we existed. She was bright, full of laughter. Her happiness mattered to me in ways I didn't even try to measure. Which is why the betrayal cut so deep. I had believed in her and in her gratitude. That trust made this necessary. The first hints came months ago. A whispered phone call that ended when I walked in. A hesitant smile that didn't reach her eyes. The way her fiancé's family lingered just a little too long at every gathering, sizing me up like a threat. I brushed it off, hoping my sister would intervene, hoping she'd remember the bond we shared. But the messages, the sidelong glances, the final understand, it became undeniable. I was expendable. Anger is loud. Revenge is quiet. I began with research. Every vendor had a clause, every contract a loophole. The florists, the catering, the band. I knew who they were, I knew how to reach them, and I knew patience mattered more than a scream. I mapped it out like chess, not like fire. Every step had to be invisible, every move deliberate. 2 weeks before the wedding, the cancellations began. A phone call here, an email there. I painted the picture of a double booking, of unforeseen emergencies. Each vendor complied. Each one disappeared quietly, professionally. Not a trace that could lead back to me. I watched as the plan tightened like a noose, savoring the anticipation, the inevitable reveal. And then the day arrived. I walked up to the grand hall, my heels clicking on the marble, perfectly composed. Guests were arriving, dressed in silk and smiles, carrying gifts that I had watched them purchase with smug pride. They opened the doors and found nothing. Not a single flower, not a table, not a band playing a note. The caterers had vanished. The venue was empty. I heard the first shriek, a high-pitched crack of disbelief. A mother clutched her pearls. Father sputtered, phones buzzing with frantic calls. My sister's face, white, shaking, was the final stroke. The fiancé, or what I had come to think of as the accomplice, stammered, searching for someone to blame. I let them look at each other, panic threading through their perfectly rehearsed smiles. I didn't need to speak. The silence was louder than any confrontation. Every eye turned toward them as whispers spread like wildfire. I felt the slow, exquisite burn of satisfaction, a quiet pulse in my chest. They had relied on me, exploited me, dismissed me, and now they were powerless. I walked past them, calm, measured, untouchable. Later, when they finally found the numbers for the vendors, it was too late. Deposits were lost, schedules impossible to fix, tempers frayed beyond repair. The wedding they had demanded I fund had crumbled in my absence, and I, the silent architect, watched the chaos from a distance. Not with glee exactly, not with the childish joy of retaliation, but with the deep, relieving satisfaction of justice executed cleanly, with no collateral damage but the betrayers themselves. I didn't gloat. I didn't yell. I didn't call them to explain. They understood. That's the thing about betrayal. When it finally turns back on the betrayer, the clarity is undeniable, and no excuses can erase it. And me? I left the hall with my head high, my steps echoing softly. I had lost nothing but wasted trust. I had regained everything else, my dignity, my control, and the sweet, unwavering knowledge that I would never again be invisible in someone else's story.